My dad walked out on us, and now I know what broke him. The air in the showroom hummed with the polished efficiency of success. Gleaming chrome, the scent of new leather, and the soft murmur of million-dollar deals. This was my kingdom. Ethan Price, owner and CEO of Elite Motors, stood amidst it all. A perfectly tailored suit hanging effortlessly on his frame, a smile practiced to perfection. My assistant, Sarah Chen, a whirlwind of quiet competence, handed me a freshly brewed espresso. "Big day, Ethan," she murmured, her eyes scanning the floor. "The investors are due any minute." I nodded, my gaze drifting to the colossal glass doors. Big day, indeed. Another step closer to solidifying everything I'd built from nothing. Everything I'd clawed my way to after he left. He, my father. For years, that single word had been a jagged shard in my gut. He just walked out. One morning, breakfast was normal. The next, he was gone. No note, no explanation, just a gaping hole where a dad used to be. My mom had withered. I'd hardened. I swore then and there I'd never be like him. I'd build something real, something unshakable. And I had. The showroom was a symphony of luxury, but the undercurrent of my past often played a discordant note. I saw a figure hesitate at the entrance, a man with a familiar stoop, a weathered face I hadn't seen in 2 decades. Mr. Harrison. My breath hitched. He was older, grayer, but undeniably him. A shockwave went through me. Of all days, why today? Sarah noticed my frozen posture. "Ethan, is everything all right?" "It's fine," I rasped, forcing my eyes back to the sales board. "Just a delivery." But he was walking in, slow steps echoing on the polished floor. He carried himself with a quiet dignity, but his clothes were worn, a stark contrast to the opulence surrounding him. I watched him approach a display model, his fingers tracing the curve of the hood. He looked lost. "Can I help you, sir?" A junior salesman, eager and oblivious, approached him. Mr. Harrison just shook his head, his gaze sweeping across the showroom, lingering on the large Elite Motors logo. Then his eyes landed on me. Our eyes met. 20 years of silence, anger, and unanswered questions condensed into that single moment. I felt a surge of old resentment, hot and bitter. He had no right to be here. Not now. Not when everything was, finally, perfect. "Ethan," he said, his voice a low rumble, surprisingly steady. "Mr. Harrison," I replied, the formality, a shield. "To what do I owe this unexpected visit?" Sarah, sensing the shift in the atmosphere, subtly moved closer. The sales staff, accustomed to the calm, controlled environment, exchanged curious glances. This wasn't typical. "I saw your name in the paper," he said, gesturing vaguely. "Heard about this place. Had to see it." His gaze swept over the pristine showroom. "You built something impressive, son." The word son felt like a punch, I scoffed. "Something you never bothered to stick around for, did you?" His shoulders slumped almost imperceptibly. "Ethan, it wasn't that simple." "It always is," I shot back, my voice barely a whisper, but laced with venom. "People leave because they want to leave. Because they don't care enough to stay." The argument was a silent hum between us, but the tension was palpable too, everyone in the vicinity. Sarah's eyes darted between us, her expression unreadable. One of the investors, Mr. Albright, a man who valued discretion above all, was walking towards us, a polite but questioning look on his face. This was a disaster. "This isn't the time or place," I said through gritted teeth, glancing at Albright. "We can talk later." "No," Mr. Harrison said, his voice gaining an unexpected strength. "No, Ethan, we're talking now, because this is the only place I can finally tell you." He took a deep breath. His gaze locked on mine, and for the first time, I saw a profound weariness in his eyes, not just age. "You always saw a man who walked away, Ethan. You never saw the storm that drove him out." He paused, then continued, his voice low but clear enough to carry in the hushed showroom. "When I left, we were drowning. Your mother didn't know the half of it. My business, it was gone, buried under debt. I'd lost everything. The house, the savings, everything I'd ever worked for. And then I made a choice." My heart pounded. A choice? What choice? "I took out a loan," he confessed, his eyes pleading for understanding. "A large one. Against collateral I didn't actually own anymore. A desperate, foolish act. To keep a roof over your head. To put food on the table for one more month. I was terrified of losing you both. I was afraid of what it would do to your mother, seeing me fail so utterly. I knew what I was doing was wrong, illegal even, but I couldn't see any other way. It bought us time. Enough time for me to get you and your mom to safety, but I knew I couldn't stay. The fallout, it would have destroyed us all. I had to disappear. To take the fall alone. The words hung in the air, heavy and raw. My mind reeled. The man I had demonized for 2 decades, the one who had abandoned us, had made a choice, born of desperation, not indifference. He had protected us. And the safety he spoke of. That small, rented house my mom suddenly found, the odd jobs she found with surprising ease, it wasn't luck. It was his desperate, final act. I looked around the glittering showroom, at the emblem of my hard-won success. It felt hollow now. I spent years hating the ghost of a father, only to realize I was standing on the ruins he saved me from. My anger, once a raging fire, was slowly, painfully, turning to ash. Mr. Albright and Sarah were now standing close by. Their expressions, a mix of confusion and dawning comprehension. The hushed whispers from the staff had ceased. Everyone was listening. So you broke the law? I asked, my voice barely audible. He nodded, a tear tracing a path down his weathered cheek. I did. To give you a chance at a future. A clean slate. I became a ghost so you wouldn't have to live with my mistakes. He spread his hands, a gesture of surrender. I know it doesn't excuse the pain I caused. The silence. But some goodbyes aren't about abandonment. They're about protection. The weight of my own judgment pressed down on me. I had built my empire on the very foundation he had sacrificed everything to lay. The bitterness I'd harbored for so long felt like a betrayal of his truth. I looked at my father, truly looked at him, and saw not a coward, but a broken man who had carried an impossible burden in silence. He wasn't here to ask for anything, just to finally unburden his soul. The investors were watching. The staff was watching. This wasn't the kind of public spectacle I'd ever envisioned for Elite Motors. But it was real. And suddenly, it felt more important than any deal. Dad, I said, the word feeling foreign on my tongue. But right, why now? Because I saw you, he whispered, his voice cracking. I saw what you built, and I knew you deserved to know the truth. You deserved to know what broke your father. A heavy silence fell, broken only by the hum of the luxury cars around us. The tension hadn't eased, but it had transformed into something else, a raw, exposed vulnerability. My father stood before me, stripped bare of his secrets, and I, for the first time, truly saw the man, not just the absence. The perfect, gleaming showroom suddenly seemed like a backdrop to a far more important story. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to smash that thumbs up and hit subscribe for more unforgettable, emotional, and viral true stories. We want to hear from you. Drop a comment and tell us, where in the world are you watching from?